Hello, everybody. It is Saturday, the 19th of March. This is a very big thought because it contains different things that should create a whole in the end, hopefully. So I want to talk about the single eye, about the rise of the ego, and in the very end, the pole shift, which seemingly are very different things, but they're not. So I want to start with the single eye, because that is what you've been taught. Yeah? That you should be above what is happening, and you should have a single eye on a solution, and that you will be given. And that has been taught to you as good. And that is a concept that is now lodged in your subconscious, by which you evaluate what's happening, what you are doing, and what others are doing. And out of this, the single eye, the single pursuit, the one solution, comes then the thought of the one savior. And nothing else will do. Jesus will come to save you, and nothing else will do. And I want to think about this because in principle it might not be wrong. Just again, there's a knowledge that we are using in the wrong way. And that is what creates bad. It's not the knowledge that creates bad. It is the way we use it. So, and the rise of the ego. So let's think about that. What is actually ego? Because again, we are throwing about words, and quite often without having a clear definition what they actually mean. So in my mind, it has been for the longest time not clear what ego actually is. Is it your knowledge? Is it your thought? Is it selfishness? What is ego? Again, ego is the single eye. It is that way, is ego. It's the way of the ego. Whether your single pursuit would be for yourself, and just for yourself, or you are in service of a single pursuit. So then your life has become in service of an egoistic intention, just one. And this is what is happening in this world, and it is taking this egoistic intention all the way, forsaking all others, single eye just on that. So whether it be just for myself, and that is your only intention, but that is not the only way. Your single intention could be to make money. So your life becomes in service to that one pursuit, forsaking all others. And you see, with a lot of people that are single-eyed, they do forsake other things. They forsake friends, they forsake family. Their entire life is spent single-minded on that one pursuit, and quite often they lose their families and their friends. They lose that emotional connection to others around them, which encapsulates them even more, because that emotional connection to others should have pulled them back. and say, look, there's something else to life. But and then when David Icke says they have no empathy, no, they don't. They severed those links in their pursuit of the one thing. As I said, whether that be money, power, knowledge, in the pursuit of knowledge. So, and it is not the way. It will take you all the way to the top, but it will destroy you. Jesus actually also was single-minded, actually in two ways. In that he was only on one emotion, which was compassion, and only one thought, that this should serve one, the one that sent him. And he took that to its conclusion, all the way to its conclusion, which is self-destruction. If you're fully in compassion, serving one, then the greatest thing you can give, no greater love, but to give your own life. That is the conclusion of that way, but it is only one setting that he's on. And that is the conclusion of that setting. So what's happening in this world, when we say this world is egotistical, and it is, because the world has gone into single pursuits. Now, in a way, let's talk about the top. The single pursuits have started to cooperate. So they're giving to each other. The single pursuit of money is giving to what they perceive as a greater thing. So they give to knowledge, they give to the pursuit of power. So they have kind of created a web. But if you are, and that is the overriding, the thing that connects them is the will to have dominion. I mean, for themselves, it's dominion in their own field, if it's finance or whatever. But then bringing it together to overall dominion. But if every part is on that intention, the will to have dominion does not help you to cooperate. So sooner or later they will fight amongst each other, which is what they're doing now. And the whole thing will fall apart. So, the problem is, when we look at this world, there is lots of problems, and there will not be just one solution. There cannot be just one savior that does all. It will not work. We need different solutions, and the solutions need to learn to cooperate with each other, which they don't at the moment. We are following men, we are following ideas, and we are saying this is solution. And we can see how it would work how it would be helpful. But we're completely single-minded, most of us. We follow one thing. And then we start fighting the people that follow a different solution. I'm telling you right now, whatever it is you're following, it will not do all. And if you think about it, can the solution of the others work something as well? And will it work something that your solution doesn't actually do? Do you ever think about that? Or are you then again on the egoistical trail? This is the solution. And everybody else has to be with us, or else they are our enemy. In a way, again, you're being actually led onto this trail of just one solution. And climate change is the best example of that. One solution, CO2. I don't even know if it does anything, but okay, it would solve everything. And if you look at this world, you know it won't. You know, pollution in the soil, pollution in the water, pollution. How does CO2 solve all of that? But, and if you see the climate change crowd, the CO2 followers, yeah, where they are sitting and having these great gatherings and they're sitting in their own CO2 self-righteousness. And I've seen reports, you know, when they leave, and they leave the greatest environmental mess behind. You know, crisp wrappers and stuff everywhere. Yeah, but we will save this world environmentally through CO2. And they're not even seeing what they're doing anymore. The mess that they are creating. But that is being driven into a single eye. And a single eye is egotistical. So it is, if you stay, and there's the thing, if you stay in the single eye, you become an egoist. But Jesus said you must be to ask. And again, should you be in the same single eye all the time? Or is it when this single thought has taken you to a solution? Leave it at that. You know, it is like if it's good, don't fix it. Don't go any further. There is a point where it's good. Leave it at that. If you look at how God created the world, yeah, first of all, he was not a complete egoist when he did. He did not say, I want to create a world and I will have trees. And trees only. Trees are righteous. Trees are the only thing. This world will be trees. He didn't say that. He thought of a lot of things that would create a whole. Yeah? So different parts. So there is the correct creation. Different parts that when they are created will give to each other, will cooperate with each other. And the world was not created in one day. So the single-minded pursuit, there were pursuits for every day. So on that day he may have been single-minded as to let there be light. But once it was created, the next day he was single-minded on something else. If you see what I mean. So it was not just one thing that created the world. Not just one thought. And he was not all of the thought at once. But he took his time. He did one thing and he added to it and he added to it. So then that might be the correct way of using the single eye when we ask. Okay, concentrate on one thing, but do not get trapped in that thing. If you think what would do me at the moment, and I can't get money out of my head, and maybe it shouldn't go out of my head. Maybe that is what I need right now. And maybe I should be single-minded on that. But if I then go the way of saying, money will solve all. And it is those that lead into captivity, go into captivity. Those that are on the single pursuit and make everybody enslaved in that pursuit, they are actually enslaved in it themselves. As I said, those that make money and lose their families and everything else, this life should give you a variety of experiences, and they've narrowed it down to one. So, in the end, they're receiving less. And they will die, and those that follow them will die. because money alone cannot keep you alive. It helps, it's a good tool, but it cannot be all. So the single eye might be correct in that you need to be that to get one thing. But then don't go into service to just that one thing. It will not solve all. You must get out of it then. Once it's in existence, you must ask for something else that will add to it. You must build a whole. So, for us, that means yes, we can follow a solution. We become servants to a solution. We can do that. But we must know that we are not the only solution in town. That we cannot serve all. And we must not go up against other solutions, but we must learn to how to cooperate, how the solutions cooperate with each other in order to form a web. Last point, and here we come to the pole shift. And you think I'm going out there now, well I am a bit, but still. The picture of the pole shift, is that we have the two poles, right and wrong, and they are just in one place. One thing is right, the other place is wrong. That's it. There is nothing else. And all the energies go just from one to the other. That's it. Now, the picture of the pole shift, the shifts of energy flipping, means that right becomes wrong and wrong becomes right, so the whole thing flips itself over. Because there can only be two things. So the only way you can change this is by flipping it on its head. There's nothing, you only two things to work with. But, and here's a but, before the pole shift starts, before this big thing happens, we seem to know, that before that happens, there's lots of poles that form all over the place. All over Earth, different poles, little poles. They form. And what happens then, the little poles migrate to one side or the other. And then if one side or the other, I don't know, it becomes too heavy or something, and then it flips it over. What by a miracle? And I would take a miracle right now. But what by a miracle? When all these poles form all over the Earth, they would suddenly form a stable pattern. Poles, negative and positive, giving two, going up against, which they would be in such a distance from each other that where the negative and the positive energies suddenly would form a stable pattern, and they would no longer move, but they would have formed a grid. You know what, that is a possibility. That can happen. It has never happened, but it's not to say that it's impossible. It's a very outside chance, but it is possible. So what would that picture then mean? And it is exactly that. If the poles, if you say the poles are representative of cultures or of countries, and they have a relationship with other countries that is, on the one hand, attraction, which is usually where we are the same, and where we can give to one another, or there's repulsion, which means there are points where we are so different that we cannot give to one another, which doesn't actually mean we have to go to war with each other. You see, that is not the next logical step. The other solution would be just leave it. If you can't agree on that, you do your thing, and just leave each other alone. Just cooperate along the positive energy lines where you can give to one another what is good for each other. The web, the neurons in the brain, the energetic connections in the stars, the stable web is the law of the Creator. That is the law of the Creator. The pyramid is not. That is the correct system. That is the correct model by which we should go. It is cooperation, but it also allows for that there are things where we do not agree. And there will be things where we do not agree. What serves us is going along the positive lines and giving to each other, because that is what strengthens the web. Giving more energy to where we disagree leads to conflict. And that does not serve. It serves nobody. It doesn't serve life. And here is the last point, is what should the overriding thought that should operate the system, what should that thought be? And I thought that last night, and there's a knowledge of ourselves, because it should be the knowledge of ourselves. Yeah? So what are we? What intention are we? At our core, what is our intention? What will are we actually? Are we the will to have dominion? I mean, we can become that will through the single pursuit. But is that what we naturally are? What a baby? Is a baby the will to have dominion from our beginning? Is that what it is? Is it screaming because it wants dominion? No, it is not. From our beginning, we are the will to survive. We are the will to live. That is who we are. We are the will to live. And if we go into the other single pursuits, our main thing is that we think it will serve us to live. And most of the time it takes away from it. Because not just one thing can create life. But that is who we are. We are the will to live. And then what is? Then our will shall be done. We shall live. And what we build must serve that will. And then if we build that, then we know that the will to live does not only mean we give to each other, but we must take care of nature. Because without that, we will not live. So I think I leave it at that, and I talk to you again soon. Bye.